Hello everybody, this is Cars and Cameras, aka Words of Sorrow, and this is the guide for YapYap. This took a while, and there are reasons for that. It's kind of hard to get good YapYap gameplay because he is a pretty difficult leader to use at a high level, but nevertheless, a lot of people don't know how to deal with him. So instantly you can beat a lot of good players if you can play YapYap well. But basically, I had a few games as YapYap that were mishaps. I had a game against Liam, who I know some viewers might know. He plays a lot of Cutter, so I thought it was Cutter, even though he's playing Anders, and that was the sole reason why I lost. I was winning quite handily, which was a miracle, because Anders counters Yap. And I thought a big drop was coming in, but instead a retriever did, and yeah. And then the game before this one you're watching right now was a Pavium versus Yap against TBG Phoenix. I won that one. However, at the end, I realized that the stream didn't actually turn on, even though I had told it to. So this is against Atriox, and against Are You Serious, who I know is a champion level player. However, he's certainly never beaten me, although he did give me a good challenge this game. That might be due to me playing YapYap and him abusing jump back brutes, but nevertheless, it's good material here. So to recap what I've already done in this first minute, basically I'm just spamming cannon fodder and I'm going generator 4th. So generator 4th allows me to get a lot of mini bases up quickly, which is what YapYap does. You want to take as many mini bases as you can, preferably the ones on your opponent's side of the map, because that starves them of minis and forces them to deal with that before they can come attack you. A lot of that is distractions, so if you get minis on their side, they have to divert their forces there, and you can get an expansion up. However, this map, Vault, kind of isn't like that, and it's hard to do that when you're YapYap. But that is one of the few exceptions. Vault isn't technically a bad YapYap map. It's certainly not as bad as Fissures for him. But anyway, for the first point, I got the Surprise Party Mine, and as the second, I've got Methane Wagons. Now, here is where I expand. You always want to start thinking about expanding around 2 minutes in. And you never want to stop pumping cannon fodder. One thing that I think my Yap is kind of weak on is I kind of neglect to pump cannon fodder out of these mini bases, which I just now realize and start queuing. So I'm going to get up a double raid camp, as your early game composition is going to be basically cannon fodder, methane wagons, heavy grunts, and also grunt riders. Here I get my second generator up. Typically, as YapYap, it's not unusual to have 3 generators in Tech 1, as once again, his early game economy really relies on you getting an expo up, and he has a very good Tech 1, so it's okay if you stay in it. If someone tries to fast tech against you, like a UNSC player tries to go into hogs, YapYap pretty much completely counters that, because you can just spam those heavy grunts. You can get the EMP ability, you can get methane wagons, and hogs will just get shredded. So, as you can see, what I'm doing now is I'm sending all of my cannon fodder in on his base. Most of the time this is to serve as a distraction, but if they don't address it, you can actually kill a pad, or if they're really negligent, 2. So definitely target generators. I've placed a mine in that path there, just in case he goes across. I know he doesn't have any detection. I've also queued up infantry level 1. That's something you want to do in Tech 1. As once again, you don't care about power that much, as your Tech 1 game is very strong. And heavy grunts, once you get them upgraded, their health bars get insanely large. Even now, you don't want to stop pumping cannon fodder because it's good for exactly their title. They soak up damage and they make your actual units harder to target. Now I see as is chosen out and basically grunts and brutes. That's his composition. And I don't really have all that much, so I don't want to engage, but I also don't want to lose this mini because I have the infantry level 1 upgrade going up. I'm going to try and drop a surprise party to stall him or something, but nothing diverts him, and he gets that before the upgrade finishes. However, he is neglecting his base, and the cannon fodder is actually going to take down that generator, which is very useful for me. So I have this next raid camp up, and I'm going to start pumping out of there because he's going to try and push my expansion. So as my third point, I've got the turret drop. Now that is a good LP, as it makes it harder for your opponent to fight underneath that. It doesn't really do any damage to buildings, so it doesn't help all that much when you're pushing, but for defending, like in a scenario like this, it's very useful. It does a good amount of damage to buildings. I mean, I just contradicted myself. To units. And also, if you time it correctly, you can drop it on top of the units they have and stun them. So I think I do use that later on. His chosen's trying to run away and I drop the turrets on him and it stuns him. But here it's not looking too great on defense. I don't have that many units, and I'm getting Tech 2, which is, I was surprised that I was able to stockpile that amount of power that quickly. Most of the time I get Tech 2 a bit later than this is YapYap. But as he took out my infantry level 1 upgrade, that didn't go through, and he basically took out my production, and so that made it hard to actually spend the power I have. So he's still pushing on this base, but fortunately he did lose all of his brutes, so he doesn't have all that much base DPS. I'm going to take out this mini he took from me, as I don't want him getting up those brutes, and I'm going to be transitioning into my Tech 2 composition. So, as I said, your Tech 1 composition is going to be Methane Wagons, Heavy Grunts, and Grunt Riders with some cannon fodder. But your Tech 2 composition, you're going to add Engineers, and you're going to add your Heroes and Locusts. Here I have my drop, and that's really what saves my base. This drop is really good, and typically you don't want to be playing defense like this as YapYap. Because if you're on the offensive and you drop this, it's pretty much GG. However, on defense it does work as well. As you can see, I'm chasing his chosen away, and I have saved this expansion. And so now I'm going to start to get my Tech 2 composition rolling, as I mentioned. I don't know how many Locusts I get up this game. Typically, you want to be getting your upgrade on your expansion now, so you can put up a foundry. But obviously I took a lot of time defending that, so I didn't want to upgrade it because I knew it might fall. But fortunately, I was able to defend that off, and I have another expansion up, seeing as I queued that because I wanted some sort of insurance in case the other one did go down. And I'm going to try to push on his mini here now to take map control. However, he does have a fair bit of units here, and that chosen just deals so much damage to Methane Wagons. It pops them so quickly, it's ridiculous. And my units are pretty much gone before I know it. So I'm going to retreat and repop with some anti-infantry, these rangers, because I really know I need to deal with that chosen. I almost kill him here, but that chosen's a slippery fella. He's one of the fastest infantry units. I think the fastest is our elite rangers, but the chosen is pretty fast himself. And I see he has a lot of engineers, and if I want to kill that chosen, I need to get anti-air up. So I'm going to start working on that next. However, I am kind of, I guess you could say, behind schedule, seeing as once again I was put on defense. I don't really have the units I need, as I was just spamming whatever I could to stay alive. Typically, you want your heroes out by now, as, like, never build your heroes on Tech 1. They're actually quite bad, but once you're on Tech 2, they are really good. It gives you basically 3 mini bulwarks, in that the Y abilities for the Grunt Goblins give you a heal, and they also, for like a split second, make all your Grunt units invincible. So, in the game I mentioned that I played previous to this one against Pavium, that came in a lot of handy with those Pavium hero Y ability combos with the Rain of Fire. I could pop my Engineer shields, and I could use my Grunt Hustle ability with my heroes, and that would negate a lot of the damage, although it couldn't completely avoid it, and Pavium is still obviously broken and stupid, and I was raging a bit, but it's okay. I'm still angry that I didn't get that on stream, though, because that was a good game. And I managed to sneak around his army here and take out the mini, which is good, and I think I can fight his army here, but he pulls off that stun mine combo, and look at that, like, there goes that Methane Wagon in the back, and basically all my combative units. I quickly realized, like, I'm not doing any damage. What is happening? I'm like, oh, well, I have 6 engineers and no units that actually do damage. That's why. Okay, so I'm playing the same game. I'm just retreating and repopping at the same time, and getting up Reavers for his heir, as I see he's starting to get quite a bit of it, and he's got a star on his chosen. I know that's going to be a problem. Finally getting my heroes up. It's a bit late, but better late than never. And I'm going to try and hold this. I know if I hold this, I will be in the lead because I have 3 bases. He either has 1 or 2, I don't know. I haven't had the chance to scout, as I've really been on defense all game, which is typically something you want to avoid, as I've said, but Atriox really does put you in a pretty weird position. Here is where I use the Shade Drop to stop the Chosen, so that I can put some extra damage on him before he gets in that garrison. And this is where the game ends. He backs himself into this corner, just trying to keep that Chosen alive. He knows that's his ticket to the win, but I just surround him, demolish all his units, and his hero dies, and then he gives up. So, this was kind of a sloppy game on my part. It doesn't exactly demonstrate the perfect composition you want to shoot for, but you get the idea. Hero, Locust, Engineer, Heavy Grunt, Methane Wagon. And what makes the Locusts good as YapYap is the Methane Wagons will buff the Locusts, as they are a Grunt unit, and that makes them very good. But I also want to mention some of the leader powers you want to get. As you can see, I did get Grunt Dome. That was pretty much just to try and negate the plasma mines. Most of the time I wouldn't go for that. I would upgrade my Grunts from above, as that is a very good drop. I'd say one of the best in the game, alongside Spirit Support. But I do think that this is a good game demonstrating YapYap, and while it might not be a perfect one, it took me a while to get, and I hope you learned something from it. So, I don't know what the next leader will be. I'm open to suggestions, but I will see you in the next one.